example, there's a lot going on, so I kind of wanted to give it its own video. Since finding indicated measure for circle O, so we have four angles A, B, C, and D that we're looking for in this first picture. So, all right, so what I am noticing is that I have 60 degrees for this part of the circle, I have 120 for this part of the circle, and I have 100 degrees for this blue part of the circle. The only part of the circle I don't know is this piece in purple. So let's start with finding that by 360 minus 100 minus 60 minus 120. So the purple part of the circle is 80 degrees. All right, the next thing I'm thinking about, so keep in mind this is kind of like a puzzle. You don't always necessarily go straight to finding angle A. You could find the answer right off the bat, but sometimes I like to find other pieces of information that fill in more details for me before I go to find the last, what the question's actually asking for. All right, now let's actually go to what the question's asking for. It's A. So I'm going to, with my colored pen or pencil, trace angle A. A is the vertex, so I don't care about the vertex so much other than the fact that it's located on the rim of the circle. What I care about is that the other sides of my angle land at D and B. So this whole angle goes from D, this whole arc rather, the intercepted arc, goes from D all the way to B. So this whole yellow and green arc combined is 120 plus 60. In other words, it's 180 degrees. So the inscribed angle will be half of that 180. So this one is 90 degrees. All right, so now let's go to the next one, B. So same thing, if it were me, I would trace these legs of the angles all the way out to the rim of the circle. We know that B is the vertex, so we don't really care about that. What we care about is where this angle lands on the circle that's not the vertex. So we're talking about the 100 all the way around the 60 to A all the way to C. That whole red arc there is the intercepted arc. So that's 100 plus the 60 combined. That would be 160. So half of that, the angle would be 80. Okay, now for C and D, there are some cheater tricks. You can use the same strategy we just used to find A and B, or you can use the fact that you already know this is 90 degrees and this is 80 degrees, and use the fact that we have that strategy where a four-sided shape inside of a circle, then the angles across from each other, what we call opposite angles, have to add to 180 degrees. So if angle B is 80, angle D is automatically 100 because 180 minus 80. And same thing for C down there. If A is 90, then the angle in the bottom right-hand corner has to be 90 because they have to add to 180 degrees. The angles across from each other, the opposite angles. All right, now let's look at part B. It's even crazier than part A. So let's start with, what do you notice? Well, I noticed that I have this little sliver of the rim of the circle. This little tiny arc from A to B is 10 degrees. This little tiny arc from B to C is 20 degrees. And then the key to this whole problem is this line right here. Do you notice that there is a dot in the middle of that line? That means that that is a diameter. That means that this is half of the circle this way, 180 degrees, and this is half of the circle this way, 180 degrees. That is the key to this whole problem, because if you notice, I can start filling in the other parts of the rim of the circle. Like if that whole turquoise part, half of the circle is 180, and then this little sliver right here is 10, then that means 180 minus 10 would be 170 for the rest of this little sliver, or for the rest of this part of the circle. Same thing on the other side. Well, we know that if we have 180 degrees for the purple and the green combined, because that's where this diameter divides the circle in half, 180 minus the 20 is going to leave me with 160 for the purple part. If this whole half of the circle is 180 minus the green 20. So that's how I got the 160. All right. So far, I don't know that I've answered anything they've even asked for. Let's start to look at our questions. I just like to fill in what information I can find to start off. So they did actually ask for arc AE, and it is 170. The second question they asked for is for the degrees of angle C. So I'm going to trace angle C here in this royal bluish color. So here's my vertex is C, and where the other two legs of the angle land on the circle, that's my starting and ending point for the corresponding arc, for the intercepted arc. So it's that 170, that's the arc that goes with angle C. So half of 170 is what, 85? So angle C will be 85 degrees. How did I know it would be half? Because C is the vertex and C is on the circle, right? Anytime the vertex is on the circle, then that means it's half of the arc. All right, let's look at part C. Okay, for part C, let's trace B to the E to the C. B to the E to the C. E is my vertex. It's on the rim of my circle, so I know that it's going to be half of its intercepted arc. Its intercepted arc was given to us to be that 20, so it's just half of 20. Again, pay attention to where those angle legs intersect the circle. There at B and C, that tells us our starting and ending point for the intercepted arc. So it would just be 10. And then the last one, if we'll find angle D, let me trace that one. So I can see, again, the vertex of D is on the rim of the circle. That's how I know it's going to be half of its intercepted arc. It looks like it starts at E, goes around, and ends here at A. So it's, again, that 170 is its intercepted arc, so it's half of 170 or 85 for D. So pay attention to where your vertex is and where the two ends of those angle legs land, where they intersect the circle, and that tells you which intercepted arc goes with it.